scare you guys. Let's scare the kitties on this beautiful Friday night, man. Last photos with disturbing backstories. How scared are you already right now? Oh my gosh. What the fuck?
Today's video is sponsored by
Damn, bro, loud ass mic. Wait, Raycon? That's crazy. Anson County.
On May 12th, 2022, the badly decomposed remains of a still unidentified woman were discovered in a wooded area in Wadesboro, North Carolina, just west of a National Guard armory. The deceased, a scantily clad white female, estimated to have been between 20 and 40 years of age, couldn't be linked to any missing persons reports in the area. In lieu of her real name, whatever that may be, she was given the moniker Anson County Jane Doe. She was estimated to have perished at some point in 2021. Unusually, at the time of her demise, the only clothing that the woman was wearing was a black Secret Treasures bra and a pair of leggings. Her cause of death has never been officially announced. While attempting to identify the woman, the most compelling, and easily the most disturbing lead the authorities came upon were several images captured by a trail cam close to where the doe's remains were found.
Oh shit.
The cam had been installed in a hunting zone near the armory to monitor a deer feeder.
A Death Eater?
Deer,
wait,
what? In a hunting zone near the armory to monitor a deer feeder. But instead of deer, it captured these.
Oh shit, what the fuck? But wait, a Death Eater? Like, from Harry Potter? Oh, a deer feeder. Okay, I was like, wait, I was like, what? Oh. This is for educational purposes, by the way.
Images of an unknown woman wearing the same clothes as found on the doe's body, stumbling through the woodland on August 22nd, 2021. She was first recorded that night at 1:33 AM, entering the frame on the right. In the next image, captured a second later as the clock struck 1:34, she isn't visible at all, suggesting that she was running at the time. She later appeared again at 4:30 and 4:31 AM,
oh, shit.
This time hobbling in the opposite direction and using a large stick to support herself. This woman is strongly believed to be the Anson County Jane Doe, and though they didn't know why this lone female was wandering through the dense forest in the middle of the night, detectives now at least had a face to work with. Forensic investigators analysed the images, but weren't able to draw many conclusions. It appeared as if the woman's leggings were wet above her knees, as was the lower half of her stick. That suggested that she had crossed a body of water, likely Culpeper Creek. She had perhaps slipped and hurt herself while doing so, hence the walking stick. Some theorize that she was suffering from a mental breakdown, but others have suggested an even darker possibility, that she was being held somewhere remote against her will, and with no time to get dressed, she had seized an opportunity to escape. Proponents of that theory believe that she ultimately met her end at the hands of her captor, who had somehow managed to track her down. Whatever did become of this woman, it's truly chilling to look over these images and imagine what her final hours must have been like, wandering alone through the woods, lost in unending blackness. In February 2022, 6 months after the trail cam footage was captured, and a few months before the doe's remains were discovered, rabbit hunters stumbled upon a backpack containing an unspecified sum of cash close to the armory. They took the cash and abandoned the backpack in the forest. When news of the doe's discovery spread, they brought the existence of the backpack to the authorities' attention. Unfortunately, to this day, that backpack hasn't been found. Despite providing relatively clear images of the doe's face, the trail cam footage didn't result in any new leads. At least, none that the authorities have publicly announced. And that's the thing. Local law enforcement have remained unusually tight-lipped about this whole case.
I wonder if they question the dude, but it's like, bro, if I get an alert on my cam that somebody's walking around with a fucking stick at 1 a.m, I'm not checking, investigating, or doing any questioning. That shit's creepy as hell. I'm just being honest.
A description of the woman's remains, her cause of death, the color of her hair, or even a description of the missing backpack. No major news outlets have reported on the story either, and it feels to many as if little's being done to solve this case. As one anonymous local resident put it,
You gotta think, bro. You gotta think about it. You know how many videos I've seen of like a girl at a door saying she needs help? The guy opens the door and then 3 niggas come out of nowhere and just bum rush the door.
I sure hope I never go missing in Anson County.
You just don't know.
In conjunction with these creepy images, it's that silence that's fueled so much online interest in this story. With so many questions and so few answers, the doe's identity has become a huge topic of discussion here on YouTube, over on Reddit, and perhaps most importantly, on Facebook. Attempt to Locate is a Facebook group with 123,000 followers, a place for users to share photos related to UIDs, or unidentified decedents. And
Yo, what if like the killer or the kidnapper of the person goes to that Facebook just to throw people off?
attempt to link them to the case files of missing persons. And while discussing these images of Anson County Jane Doe, several users brought up this woman. Amber Ray Johnston, a 36-year-old mother from Mojave County, Arizona, one who's been missing since August 2021.
Good idea, thanks.
To quote her page on missingpersoncenter.org, Amber was last seen in Bullhead City in August 2021. She left all her personal belongings at her apartment.
Oh.
Her boyfriend left around that same time and went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Amber was supposed to take a bus to Myrtle Beach on August 16th and meet him there.
Thank you for the resub.
In her last Facebook post, on August 19th, she streamed live from a bus before getting off at Winston-Salem. She hasn't been heard from since,
Damn.
and it's not clear whether she arrived in Myrtle Beach or not. Curiously, Amber's food stamp card was used by another woman after her disappearance. The woman, when contacted, said Amber's boyfriend had sold her the card. In the months prior to her disappearance, Amber had been using drugs and acting paranoid.
Oh.
Her case remains unsolved, and the circumstances are unclear.
What am I looking at?
Amber Johnston bears an undeniable resemblance to the woman captured on the trail cam, and the date of her last correspondence lines up perfectly with when the footage was recorded. This lead has since been brought to the authorities' attention, and it's yet to be confirmed whether Amber truly is the doe or not.
Thank you for the prime, bro.
Given just how much attention this case has received as of late though, I'd wager that the local authorities will dedicate more resources to identifying her, and that she'll be given her name back in the near future. Until then, Anson County Jane remains one of the USA's 14,000 unidentified decedents. I'll be sure to keep you all posted about any breakthroughs on my social media accounts.
That's a creepy, like, picture. I'm not even gonna try that. Oh, it's a little boy.
This is the last known photo of Snehanshu Sharma, a smart and cheerful 8-year-old boy from Hooghly, West Bengal. As reported by India Today, the boy met his end on February 16th, 2024, when he accidentally witnessed his mother, Shanta Sharma, in a, quote, compromising position with her secret lesbian partner, Ifat Parveen.
What?
Snehanshu became distraught when he saw his mother betraying his father. Little did he realize that his father, Pankaj, already knew about his wife's secret love affair, which had been going on since before they got married.
What?
But he had chosen to keep silent about it. Shanta tried to persuade her son to keep quiet too, but even after talking things over with him, she and Ishrat feared that he might reveal their secret to someone. Although lesbian relationships are legal in India, in certain areas they're considered extremely taboo and socially unacceptable. Terrified of a social backlash that could ruin their lives, both Shanta and Ifat did the unthinkable. Together, they pinned Snehanshu down, stabbed him several times with a vegetable knife so forcefully that the blade bent, and struck him in the head with an iron rod and a stone idol.
What?
They did all this while the boy's father, Pankaj, was at work, and when the only witness at the home was the family dog, Shadow. However, when Snehanshu's cousin came over and discovered the boy's lifeless body inside the home, investigators were quickly summoned and were able to identify his killers. Shanta and Nifat's mobile data placed them inside the house with Snehanshu at the time his life came to an end, as did surveillance footage captured by a neighbor. Forensic experts also found traces of Snehanshu's vital fluid on both of their clothes and on the stone idol inside the family home.
God.
They were arrested 4 days after the slaying, At which point, Shanta confessed to taking her son's life out of fear of social embarrassment and ostracization.
Yeah, because this is going to make it better, bro. Oh my God. Did you hear she killed her child? Yeah, but she's not gay, right? No, I don't think so. Good. Like, oh my, like what?
Deputy Commissioner...
Not only did you just kill your child, niggas still found out you was gay. Like what?
Biswas stated to the media,
gay, bi, whatever, man.
the relationship between Shanta and Ifat was an old one.
Came for music reactions, left with trauma.
They used to talk on the phone for hours past midnight. Based on multiple pieces of evidence, we zeroed in on these two women. Shanta was arrested from her home, and Ifat from hers.
Damn.
Both women are currently being held in police custody, awaiting their trial.
The father just lost
Snahangshu's father is calling for his wife and her partner to be hanged.
Oh, I like that. I'm calling for that shit too. Fuck them. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Alright, yo.
On September 20th, 2022, Emma Brown, age 12, was firing guns with her father, Daniel Brown, at their home in Poolville, Texas. Daniel ran a firearms business, and Emma had grown up around guns and ammo.
Oh shit.
That afternoon, the pair posed together for a photo before their joint target practice. What Daniel didn't know in that moment was that his daughter had other plans in mind, which she had morbidly hinted at by wearing a Harry Potter t-shirt with the quote, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good." The 7th grader had secretly been planning a murder pact with an online friend. Both girls had mutually agreed to take out their entire families, including their pets, before running away together.
What?
According to chat logs, Emma planned to steal her parents' car, pick up her accomplice, and drive 230 miles to Georgia.
What did this nigga do to make you that
Shortly
mad?
after this image was taken, Emma intentionally fired a shot into her father's abdomen. After incapacitating her father, Emma took off down the driveway and walked about 100 yards down the road.
What the fuck did the cat do?
But for whatever reason, she aborted her plan.
I'll be honest, I don't like cats though.
Instead of making her way to Georgia, fired a single shot into her own head. Officers later arrived at the scene and found Emma lying in the dirt road. She passed away 2 days later in a local hospital.
Oh shit.
Her father, Daniel, survived his injuries.
Oh shit.
Emma's partner in crime, who also happened to be a 7th grader, was picked up by the authorities at her home in Lufkin and was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Thankfully, she had either backed out of their mutual pact or never intended to go through with the plan in the first place, as her family were unharmed. She was fully prosecuted and sentenced in March 2023. Neither her name nor her sentence have been revealed to the public due to her age, and it's unclear how she and Emma had met, or why they both intended to eliminate their families and run off together.
What the fuck, bro? 7th grade, bro? 7th grade.
Icon Park's Orlando Freefall was touted by its operators as the tallest freestanding drop tower in the world. The attraction lifted riders in a gondola 430 feet above the ground, before inclining the seats forward 30 degrees and plunging them into a freefall, breaking 100 feet above the ground. Riders were only meant to experience a 4G thrill, a mild stomach upset, and a few laughs.
Oh shit.
But on March 24th, 2022, things ended very differently for one park guest. Tyrie Samson was just 14 when he fell to his demise from the Orlando Freefall drop tower.
I remember this.
The adolescent, originally from St. Louis, had been on vacation in Florida with his family and a friend. When he and his buddy made it to the front of the line for the drop tower, staff were immediately concerned with the boy's size. The tower's manual specified a weight limit of 287 pounds for the ride. Tyrie, who stood at 6'5" and weighed 383 pounds, was too large to fit safely into the seat. As such, the harness sensor in Tyrie's seat had to be manually adjusted, loosened, and then tightened again, creating a larger gap than normal between his harness and the seat.
Just not let him
The young attendant assisting Tyrie had only been working at the park for 3 days, was still technically a trainee, and believed that because the adjustment had made the indicator light turn green, that it was safe to proceed with the ride. Moments before the ride was activated, Tyrie could tell that something wasn't right, and reportedly said to his friend beside him, "I don't know, man. If I don't make it down safely, can you please tell my mama and daddy that I love them?" This photo shows Tyrie seconds before the gondola began to rise. His shoulder bar was noticeably looser than his fellow riders.
It's like, bro, you can't look at that and think...
After the ride reached its target height of 430 feet, Tyrie began to panic, realizing that he wasn't properly secured. But by that point, it was too late. The ride went into freefall. The brakes applied, and because of the G-force, Tyrie was effectively sucked through the gap in his harness and hurtled to the concrete, smashing into the ground head first. He died shortly after impact. Video footage of this incident exists, but for obvious reasons, I don't recommend seeking it out. The visuals, and in particular, the sound, are absolutely soul-crushing. Even worse, when viewing it, it's apparent that nobody immediately helped the boy, and park employees can be heard trying to pass the blame. A lawsuit filed by Tyrie's family claimed that there were no visible weight limits or scales at the ride location. After learning the details of what happened, I can't help but wonder.
It's like you should still see that something's wrong though, and stop that fucking ride, bro. This is, oh my god, that shit's like looking at that picture. Somebody should have been like, no, we can't allow this.
Wasn't he turned away?
Like what?
Said Tyrie's mother. He'd been refused on other rides, so why not this one? I understand he's a child. He insisted on riding with his friend, I get that. But as an adult, or a ride attendant, that decision should have been made.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
His feelings might have been hurt, but he would still be here with me.
Exactly.
His family filed a wrongful death suit against the owners of the amusement park, and settled for an undisclosed amount. The ride has since been dismantled.
Oh my gosh, bro. You gotta look at that shit,
On July 6th, 2023, two students disappeared from India's northeastern state of Manipur. Hijam Linthongambi, a 17-year-old Meitei Hindu, had been attending tutorials that morning and was later captured on CCTV riding on a motorbike with her friend, Fijam Hemanjith, age 20. When both youngsters failed to return home that evening, their families reported them missing. For over 2 months, their whereabouts and well-being remained a mystery. Both sets of parents clung on to hope that their children would be found alive and well. That is, until late September, when this photo went viral on social media. The image shows both missing students seated together in an outdoor wooded area. Linthongambi wears a mask and looks directly at the camera with a scared expression, while Hemanjith's gaze is averted and empty. Two armed individuals, their captors, can be observed in the background.
What the fuck?
Members of the rival Kuki Christian community, who had forced the two students into one of their trucks at gunpoint. In May of 2023, violence had erupted between the Meitei people, who make up the majority of those living in the Yamphal Valley region of Manipur, and the Kukizo tribal community, who called the surrounding hills home. The Kuki people have long complained about feeling marginalized and persecuted by the Meiteis, who hold more sway with the state government, and tensions came to a boiling point when the Meiteis demanded official tribal status, which would allow them to buy land and settle in predominantly Kuki areas. To date, approximately 200 people have been killed during the conflict, more than 1,000 injured, 60,000 displaced, and countless women essayed and publicly humiliated.
Oh shit.
It's safe to say that atrocities have been committed by both sides. Now, I'm by no means an expert, but from my understanding, the Kukis have a legitimate grievance with how the state government favours Meitei people. However, in this case, Kuki militants seem to have taken their frustrations out on two innocent young people and decided to make an example out of them.
Damn.
By the time this image had surfaced online, the conflict had become so inflamed that curfews and internet blackouts were ordered. Another blackout was issued after it was posted too, leading many to hope that peaceful negotiations may result in Linthongambi and Hemanjith's safe release. But when normal internet services returned on September 25th, a second picture began circulating online. One that showed the bodies of the two students lying in a pit.
Oh shit.
They were wearing the same clothes as seen in this image, and it's believed that they were executed mere moments after it was taken, likely as revenge against the Meiteis. Hijam Shantikumar, Linthongambi's uncle, revealed that these images had broken the poor girl's mother. "She's devastated and faints every few minutes," he stated. She had been anxiously awaiting any news of her daughter's safety, of her return. We had to show her the images to accept that she will never return. Never. The government has utterly failed. There is no governance here. For the past 3 months, they've suspended the internet. Without internet, we'd have never learned about their deaths. During a protest held in Yamphal, thousands of students rallied to demand justice for Limpo Ngambi and Hemanjeth. At least 45 protesters sustained injuries following clashes with the authorities, who deployed tear gas and fired rubber pellets. I want to assure the people that both the state and central government are closely collaborating to apprehend the culprits, Chief Minister Singh stated on Twitter. On October 1st, 2023, 4 adults were arrested in connection with the slaying of the students. 2 men, Palminlan Haukip and Smolsom Haukip, and 2 women, Lingnajong Baitakuki and Tinaling Hintang. If found guilty, they'll face the death penalty for taking the lives of 2 young, innocent students caught up in the crossfire of a conflict that they didn't start, that they didn't participate in.
I'm saying they're literally kids.
And that they didn't ask for.
That shit kind of weak, bro. Like, what?
Darren Charles Mitchell, 21, was a National Guardsman and father from Navasota, Texas. May 26, 2016 was a torrentially rainy day in that part of the Lone Star State, and as Darren travelled down Highway 105 just outside of Brenham, his truck became trapped in flash floodwater which washed out the road. He clambered out into the bed of the vehicle and called his brother to let him know the situation, that he was trapped but still alive. But the floodwater continued to rise at an alarming rate. A high percentage of flood-related fatalities come from being hit by debris, and so, perhaps fearing being struck or washed away, Darren clambered back into the driver's side.
Bro, we actually take so much for granted, bro. Imagine being thankful for the internet so you could receive the last image of your kids and find out they died.
Yeah.
That's an insane perspective, and here we are complaining when our game lags.
True. But it's like, I mean, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. I feel like we just so used to stuff. We're so spoiled. We're so spoiled by all the shit we have around us that we don't really take into consideration certain things.
Seat. Shortly thereafter, at 6:29 p.m., he posted this photo to his Facebook page.
Oh shit.
The caption read, "All I wanted to do was go home." But Darren would never get to go home again.
Oh, I'd be fucking panicking, bro.
Moments after uploading this photo, his vehicle became fully submerged.
Oh yeah, nah, man.
One local resident, Lashondo Smith, watched in horror as Darren's truck was swept away by the water. All of a sudden, he got back in his truck, and like maybe 10-15 minutes after that, it just flipped and he topsided into the water. It just disappeared. You didn't see tires, his truck, nothing. The following morning, Darren's body was found downstream in Kirkendall Creek. He was far from the only person who lost their life during that flood. Layla Holland, 64, drowned when floodwaters consumed her home. Jimmy Wayne Schaefer, 49, was swept away in his vehicle.
Jesus.
Florida Malima, 23, drowned in her car. And Purali Umatia, 59, was found lifeless in Yegwa Creek.
Is this, oh, this is the last one. Oh.
On October 22nd, 1999,
Oh, shit.
60-year-old Santa Barbara resident.
Sorry, 60? 60.
Jan Davis attempted a base jump from El Capitan in Yosemite Park. Davis's jump was part of an organized civil act of disobedience, protesting new regulations which made base jumping illegal in Yosemite without a permit. By leaping from El Capitan, the group hoped to prove a simple point: that base jumping was completely safe and that it shouldn't be outlawed. The protest was organized in reaction to the drowning death of fellow jumper Frank Gambale III on June 9th. Frank had successfully parachuted from El Capitan, but drowned in the river below while attempting to escape from rangers, ones who were staking out the mountain to catch jumpers breaking the new regulation.
Oh.
Jan was the fourth of 5 jumpers who had gathered at the top of El Cap to attempt the jump. The first 3 successfully executed their jumps and received cheers from the 150 or so onlookers at ground level. These jumpers were subsequently taken into custody by rangers stationed at the bottom of the mountain.
Damn, was that shit worth
But
it?
they all anticipated this. Jan herself had even dressed in an inmate's outfit,
Okay, I was
mocking
wondering
what she considered a ridiculous regulation.
I was wondering why she...
At approximately 1:20 p.m, it was her turn to step up to the plate. An experienced jumper who had performed stunts in movies like Waterworld and Congo, Jan showed no signs of fear as she shimmied up to the edge of El Cap. One of her fellow protesters gave her a 10-second countdown, and with the shout of 3, 2, 1, see ya ringing in her ears, Daredevil Jan flung herself over the edge of the 3,200-foot mountain. Initially, all appeared well, but onlookers grew concerned when she didn't deploy her chute at the recommended altitude.
Oh.
"Pull, woman," muttered the cameraman as he watched her falling towards the rocks below at full speed. "Dude, she's got problems, man," he said a few seconds later. Jan fell for over 15 seconds before striking the talus slope at the cliff's base. She died on impact. Investigators later found out that Jan was jumping with borrowed gear, fearing that the Rangers would confiscate hers upon her arrest. Trouble was, Jan usually pulled the cord on her back. On the borrowed jumpsuit, the cord was on her leg. This likely led to confusion mid-jump, and unfortunately, spelt her doom. Base jumpers argue that by prohibiting the activity, Rangers are forcing hobbyists to take unnecessary risks, such as jumping in low light. And
I mean, you can't really blame them. You can't blame the authority. Like, you can't blame, like, why? Nobody's making you do this. Like, this is something you just want to do because you like doing it. It's like, I ain't gonna lie. This is crazy, bro. Like, this literally all could have been avoided.
Using all the gear that they don't mind being confiscated. But Rangers argue that the community's readiness to break their own rules is exactly why base jumping can't be allowed.
Exactly.
And, ironically, Jan's protest jump served to highlight their point.
Exactly, bro.
Although base jumping is still banned in Yosemite to this day, hang gliding is permitted 1 day a week from Glacier Point. The hang gliding community have always been very compliant with the regulations, said Yosemite spokesperson Scott Gediman, whereas the base jumpers have not.
Bro, she didn't think though, like, to like ask or check or practice with that shit. Jesus, man. Oh my gosh, man. Some things, like, I don't know, man. Some things just, I don't know, man.